What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here, and I just want to make this video, press record and put it up on the channel. That is something that I don't usually do for a lot of my reviews, okay? But I want to talk about one album that I will say in this video that I want to address my words and get it over with. Because this album that I'm going to be talking about in this video is a big example of a musical direction that sounds good to the musician's ears, but in the worst way possible for any audience to even remotely believe that this album is a thing. When you listen to albums of stuff you love, you are anticipating of what a solo artist or a band can make next. You will then appreciate and admire the direction of their choices of writing any new material. Whereas with different albums that are totally the opposite of positivity in anyone's opinion, things do come off as very sore. And that's where I'm going to go ahead with this album. I'm going to talk about the new Kid Rock album entitled Bad Reputation. Now, this is his first album since 2017. No new material after the last album. And when it comes to Kid Rock, a lot of people can either be approachable into what he wants to make, or many people will say that he is one of the worst musicians and one of the absolute cringiest. And it's just a neck-and-neck battle between anybody else that they either think that Kid Rock is so bad is good, or so bad that it is just awful stuff. This album has 18 tracks, so nearly 20 songs. And what's even more big is that this album is 70 minutes long. That's as long as a prog metal concept album, or like a Metallica length of an album in the later half of their discography. But with this album, a lot of the material with this has been nothing but one of the bankrupt and broken atrocities that we have unfortunately had to deal with, that it is an actual thing in music, on any album making. And with other bad albums like Machine Gun Kelly's Mainstream Sellout, that is a very awful album. Yes, I know, you'd be thinking, Strong Boys, why did you have to listen to Machine Gun Kelly's album and this one? I did it because you don't have to. That's as brutally honest as I can achieve something of a sentence that just came out of my mouth, okay? So, Kid Rock is a musician that I never understood why people make an appeal about him. Whereas with other musicians, say like Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst can be tolerable for some, and some people would not tolerate him at all. That's how I would say the same thing about Kid Rock. Let's dive into the whole album track by track, because I had to listen to all of these 18 tracks of songwriting. The album starts things very, very awkwardly and cringeworthy on the track Don't Tell Me How to Live. Very annoying, yet an abysmal hook with childish repetition of swearing without any definition, from his behavior in this bluesy style of music all over. And the chorus, the sound of the chorus, the voice immediately just makes me think about the vocalist from Creed. I am not kidding you. It just immediately sounds like that. So, a very bad song to start things off. The second track is one of the dumpster fires. The second track, called We the People. Badly produced, with a bloated chanting chorus and these mundane lyrics that's just so messy, being anti-social media, COVID-19 pandemic, mask wearing, all these political views in this attitude is just at its worst. These lyrics do come off as so dumb-minded and juvenile. We the People, an abomination of a song. The next track, My Kind of Country. And instrumentally, this is the beginning where you will hear later on the album, the country rock flavour. The structure of it sounds decent, and it has a bit more of a consistent flow, but it is incredibly mediocre. And then after listening to this track, it becomes very forgettable, and it does not stand as strong. The title track, Bad Reputation, weirdly making me think of like a Rolling Stones type of songwriting. And again, the lyrics are about hating onto the social media and criticism about people hating on him. And for me, being a Rolling Stones fanatic, I don't care what I'd say, but this type of structure it's making me feel insulted that this is a thing in the direction of a genre with these wasteful lyrics about news, guns, hookers, cash, good on ya, and it's just so obviously stereotypical. Never Quit, the next track, is another one of the worst songs, and it starts things countrified, but it abruptly mixes things so awkwardly with a trap beat. And I do not care how much you are going to rant about this direction onto the media, because it's the new generation and deal with it. This attitude does not fix anything. Violins, backing vocals, and guitar sounds which don't blend whatsoever in a unique way, and it feels bland and appalling that it was just written this way. Shake Down, this is another number with a rapping style, and it starts things on a rumbling bass tone, and then Kid Rock goes into this absolutely phased out sound of auto-tune and vocal editing into this modern rap style beat, which makes it terrible at best. The looping form of the structure goes on and on with sounds of wah-wah guitar and generic distortion, like a backing track by numbers. Rocking, which takes things down into the acoustic slide guitar style with some accompaniment on the piano, and musically this sounds very mellow and gentle from the start, but I can't believe that it has a structure onto the sound of the beat that makes me think that this is exactly like This Afternoon from Nickelback, from their Dark Horse album, because of the pacing, and even with the mentions of Bob Seger to Marvin Gaye, and it's trying so hard to make a desperate and honest feel something really devoid of wants to make anything but emotionally driven, and a lot of that goes onto the later half point on the album. Last Dance, this is another mid-tempo soft ballad style. I love direction, but it's so basic in the formula of finding anything of a melody, and this does not have the aggressively dire lyrics, but its musical arrangement did sound passable at that, and it's something that could have been okay, but the way these words were placed in makes it all over the place. And same goes on to the next song, See You Again. This is on a different note of balance, vocal harmonies, and acoustic / lead guitar style playing. This is a number that Bon Jovi could have achieved. And this is a style that has been done many times before with these rehashed ideas and this blatant, boring style. Still something. It starts things on a phased-in keyboard effect, but then switches things into AC/DC, Van Halen, GNR, the band references in this rocky drivel, inconsistent and directionless laziness made of material. Tons of more references on Journey to cranking guitars, sold out shows, She's Your Baby, which I think is the most laughable number on this album. Rock and trumpet keyboard sounds trying to match the music, but it's lyrically about bitching and arguing with your girlfriend, yet you just have sex with her anyway. Do I need to say anything else about this song? The chorus is what made me laugh. I just don't know why. It's so generic. And again, it's one of those songs that could have been passable. Never Enough is, along with We the People, the absolute stinker of the whole pile of shit on this album. Tremolo sound of guitars, production, and then the abysmal sound of autotune. This autotune is what makes me hate the whole sound of autotune in the first place. It's wasted all here because it's heavily, brutally edited, and this is a bad grading stinker bomb that is everything to me. The drums just do not sound as good on this song at all. A harmonica acoustic presentation once again to bake in a mid-tempo. This is more or less onto a southern rock feel, totally bland. Cold Beer is another one. I would say difficult to really digest this one because this is something that the Eagles could have made another song like this. And then the next song is Alabama. Obnoxious moods of lyrics, and just to try and bring your admiration of the state of the country of the US music is very rootsy, and it tries to march along, which it does and continues on, but it's bare minimal effort. And What I Am is a disregarded mess of a rap style and performance that comes back with a mixture of modern production and guitar arrangements. These lyrics have no sense of direction without any purpose in like this pompous, whiny teenager, no hook, and rephrasing all over again. Stupid and awkwardness to the max of its presentation. The Nashville I Know just plods along, and it's tired on its slow progression, and references about the Tennessee, it's not making anything definitive at all. It makes me feel that Mama Said from Metallica is more of a masterpiece than what this one is. And once again, the attacking about other people's looks and styles in the later verses, lackluster and aggressively not tolerable. And then the last song, 50. A song about him into his 50s, a whack finale, and another one with lyrics that he just thinks to himself and about what he still would like to do. Bang chicks that cost $20, that used to be free at that time in the 90s, and yet alone he references his penis at the last leg of the song, which is typical, that he still does not give a fuck. That is the album of Bad Reputation by Kid Rock. As very appropriate this title of an album it is, this is an album that I will say that it is so bloated, preposterous, lifeless, and so bad in itself that this is potentially a contender for being the worst album of the year. With Machine Gun Kelly's Mainstream Sellout, that's 40 minutes. Just terrible, but not as long as this. This is nearly 20 tracks, as I've said, more than an hour long, of a wasted opportunity. Kid Rock with Bad Reputation is the bottom of the barrel, worst thing that I would have ever listened to of someone this arrogant, as egotistical, and as just so brain dead beyond making anything in music. This album rating is a 1 out of 10. Why is it a 1? It's a 1 because there are some musicians that had worked with Kid on this album that I do give them credit that they at least achieved something. Yet alone, the music was entirely written by Kid Rock in a lot of the album's majority. But the album does not have to be a pass. This is a failure of an album, and no wonder it did not chart at the Billboard 200 in the US. So that's that. I am done with Kid Rock, and I do not need to put myself in this misery even further. And after now talking about this piece of shit, let me know what you think of the record in the comments below, and it would not be no surprise if there's going to be, a division of comments. And, I am ready. I am ready for the hate, because even if Kid Rock, to some people think that Kid Rock is a good musician, they don't know what originality is by worthless, talentless musicians like him. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.